What's up, everybody? Last live stream of the year, I had mentioned that I was going to install my Jedi Killer Gen 2 on a live stream. So that's what I wanted to do today. And I'm just going to gather some last minute parts, wait for some people to tune in if they want to tune in. And we're going to install this saber. I just got my chassis in the mail today. So I'm excited to get it installed. I've been waiting for it. I sent it out to get it printed. This is the same chassis I offer on my site. What's up, Ike? David's double points. Yo, what's up, David? Pretty good, man. Hope you're doing well too. Hope you guys have a very Merry Christmas or whatever it is you celebrate. I just tell people Merry Christmas. So I'm going to give it a few minutes. I've got the saber already broken down. I did do a little bit of modifications to it, nothing very major. Really the only thing here is the crystal chamber. So when you get the crystal chamber, it has some extra all thread on the bottom. I just chopped that off. So not a big deal. All right. Get my battery tabs ready. I'll put this camera down on my desk so you guys can actually see what I'm doing. Could probably do that now. Shouldn't take too long, maybe an hour or so. We'll see. There's a little bit to this install. It's not too bad. So let me point this down to my desk here, where you guys can kind of see me work. Let me bring in my other camera so that make it big. There we go. Hand pink waving. So this is my chassis that I designed for the JK Gen 2. I just sent it out to get it printed in SLS, and then I had it vapor polished as I wanted to do something a little bit different, but that's what it is. We're going to put some LEDs on the side. So a 15 pit. Yo, what's up, Brian? A 15 pixel accent strip over here. We're going to put another one over here. This takes a 28 millimeter speaker. There's a place for a kill switch in there. I know it's a black chassis, so it's kind of hard to see, but the kill switch is right there. You live, you bitch. One last live install of the year. So yeah, removable battery. There was only one person early on when I first turned it on, so I got this saber broken down already. The only modification that I did to this is there is some extra, the all thread that holds this crystal chamber together, came out to about here or so, and I just chopped those off because I didn't need them. They were kind of in the way, so chop that off, because in my chassis here, I have a single, or a holder for a single NeoPixel accent. Boy, it doesn't want to focus, does it? There it is. So we'll go through that. We're using some small brass hat tactiles right here for the power and the auxiliary. Most everything, like 95% of the work on this install is going to happen right here in the chassis. We'll do this. We'll do the saber part real quick and just get it together. So I got a custom PCB holder for this because it goes up inside of here and then sits flush with the top of the crystal chamber. I'm going to use a Carl Chen V4 NeoPixel connector for this build. So we'll just wire this up first. Okay. Blade plug still in there. I could probably take that out. Let's take the blade plug out. It's a cool blade plug, but we're going to take it out real quick. There we go. Slide that out. We'll wire up this main connector. We'll get it in the crystal chamber, and then we can pretty much put the saber back together and then start working on the chassis. All right. So let's get that done real quick. I'm trying to keep my eyes on the chat. Yo, what's up, Rob? Happy holidays to you, man. Oh, Benji said the same thing with his personal Facebook and his business page. So this saber, when I set it up, it will have 3 blade styles. I already programmed the Profi board so that at the end of this video, when it's all installed, we can fire it right up. Hopefully, if I did everything right. And then you never know if I'm going to do it right because I'm a bit of a hack, but I get lucky sometimes. So we'll see what happens. This was a perfect opportunity for me because I don't have any commissions in-house that I could work on right now. I've been leaning more towards trying to do some metal type chassis. The trade-off of that is, I'm used to working at a pretty fast pace, and I've had to learn some patience because I have to send those off. Who made this saber? I think it was this JK Gen 2. I think this came from TXQ or LGT, bro. Phoenix props, dude. All right, let's get this all wired up. What's up, Tano Sabers? I kind of got away from doing these install videos for a while. I used to do them once a week, and then stuff got a little hectic, and then it's easy to fall out. But I really wanted to do one more before the year was over because I do really enjoy doing these. And then hopefully, somebody might learn something. You can watch me do it and learn the way not to do it. What is up with the hand pink waving? Young Breezy? Anyway. So we're going to use some CA glue because that's what I like to use. As always, I'll say if you're going to use it, make sure that you're right. Make sure that you're not going to want to take anything apart because once you use this stuff, it's in. So we're going to glue this PCB holder that I made for it first. It's not a terribly complicated thing, but it allows us to sit flush with the crystal chamber. Like that. What's up, Mark? Hey, JP. You would have a commission if you responded to my email. Don't know that I got an email from you, man. So if you don't mind, send it to me again, please, because I'm usually pretty good with answering people. In fact, I do it all hours of the day and night. Yo, what's up, Jason? So if I didn't answer you, it's probably because I didn't get it. So apologies for that. Yo, what's up, Clint? So I'll put this in one more time. I'm going to hold this in here for a second and let it dry. Dude, I'm not going to answer you. Yo, what's up, Nader? Yeah, I appreciate that, man. If I've got my phone on me all the time, if I see someone ding in, I answer it as quickly as I can. I try to answer in more than just a couple words. It's coming off a little short about a year ago or so because I would just be incredibly busy and I'd still stop everything I'm doing to answer any message I got. But sometimes it would come off as a little cold, and I didn't mean it that way. I was just busy. But I have discovered this year voice to text, which has been awesome. And, it helps me out a lot answering. So that's what we got there. So I've glued that in now. We're good to go. The PCB is sitting flush with the crystal chamber. We're good there. Everything's sticking out there. So that's nice and tidy. We're going to go ahead. And at this point, we can put the upper part of the saber together because that's really all I needed to take it apart for. So we got this right here. We got a couple of these screws. Start putting this back together. Dude said you'd have a commission if you answered my email. Wait, man. My bad. My bad, dude. All right. So this crystal chamber gets locked in with two screws. First, you've got one right here that you don't see when the main shroud is on, and then we've got another little one. Over here, what we're going to put in. And I believe it goes right there. Yeah, it goes right there. We're just going to go ahead and put that all the way in. All right. We'll keep these over here for a second. We'll take these pieces. I did lightly weather this saber. We're going to leave the control box off for now. So, in fact, what we're going to do is probably just hold off on putting the outer shroud on. I just wanted to lock in the crystal chamber. What's up, Mad Snow? Listen, Brian, I love doing sabers for you, and but I'm not going to make that Dookie saber. I don't. I don't care. There's a line that I have to draw, and that's it. That's the line. I am not making that thing. I've never seen it come out to where it doesn't look like poop. I can't do it. I'm sorry. So let's start. Let's start wiring up these little accents. Cut about 6 wires off here, my little stand. That saber looks like a turd. So, yeah, this takes a minute because we're going to wire both of these accent strips at the same time. Really, they're the first ones that need to go in. So we'll straighten these up. I've not seen an image of that before now. 100% Dookie. Dude. They just didn't try on that one. I'm not throwing shade at anyone who's tried to make it either. I mean, good on you. Good on you. Not for me. I want to say I think Brian knows that too, and he's just messing with me. But sometimes I'm not sure, man. What's up, Jimmy Girfon? Okay, now we're gonna wire up these little strips I got right here. We got 2 of these 15 pixel strips. I'm gonna wire them in the back. Yo, what's up, Bobby? Happy holidays to you, man. Appreciate that. Not done a live install in a while. Trying to think of the last one. I don't even remember what the last one was. Totally messing around. Oh, thank God, dude. Thank God. I've done a lot of sabers for you, and I hate to tell you no. So I'm glad you're playing on that one. Hopefully, your other package, the one I just recently sent you, made it safe because that was a pretty expensive one. Figured no news was good news on that one. I hadn't heard anything. So, all right, we got one wired up. I'll wire up the other one. This one takes a little bit of finesse. I have some diffusion material that my buddy Tim turned me on to. I was using the nylon diffusion from Blade material, which is really good too. There's still a lot of good applications for that, but this particular stuff comes in a flat sheet, so it was very easy just to cut off what I needed. And the package I bought of it will last me for a long time. Oh yeah, no worries, Brian. I'm glad it made it safe, bro. I hope you have a Merry Christmas and you don't have to be on the road over the holidays too much, unless that's where you want to be. All right. One more wire on this guy. Now, what I tend to do at this point before I start putting anything into the chassis is I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to wire all of my components and then put them all into the chassis at the same time. For me, it seems like it's a bit more streamlined that way. Oh, what is it called? What's what called? Oh, the diffusion material. I don't remember. I don't remember. It has been a hell of a year trying to come up with new ways to stand out from the pack a little bit. A lot of inspiration came from Albert, Tim, Benji, some other guys in the hobby. I try not to. I mean, I do watch everybody's work. I try not to look at it too much though, because then I get like the design cues of chassis burned in my head, and I might accidentally use them. I try not to do that. Um, some people don't mind doing that so much. I try not to. Stop copying me, Jeremy. I don't want to copy you. But yeah, I've been trying to get a hold of my own thing. I feel like I do. I feel like I do a pretty decent job of staying in that lane. So we got the speaker wired up. We got our accents wired up. Let's go ahead and wire up our single neopixel accent while it's laying in front of me. But yeah, it's been a hell of a year, man. Competition pretty stiff this year. A lot of people have stepped up their game, and it's very cool to see. But then also can be challenging to you know admire it, but then also try to stay competitive. I guess is what I'm trying to say. Yeah, blade diffusion material is super cool, man. I mean, it works great. This stuff also works great. So very easy to cut. Blade diffusion material cannot be so easy to cut sometimes when you need a small strip like this. Plus, this is very thin. Excited to see what you do in the manufacturing side. Yeah, thanks, Eric. Yeah, I've invested a lot. I've invested a ton of money and time into some tools to try to help me do some different things, and I'm excited for next year because I do have some things in mind for next year. What's up, Dex? So we got that single NeoPixel all wired up. While we're over here, we'll go ahead and we'll wire up our two little switches. Just make it easy on ourselves. Glad to hear it. Bigger than you expected for her at 7 months. Oh, you're talking to, I got you. You're not talking to me. I was like, what the hell are you talking about? But you're not talking to me. Get all the wires for our switches here. We've almost got all the components wired up. So after this one will be the battery tabs. We'll do the kill switch, and then we can start putting the stuff into the chassis, right? Gluing the switches in place because we're gonna have to hold those in for a second. It won't take too long, but it takes a little bit of time. All right. Little tiny brass hats. I'm using the smallest you can. I don't remember the size off the top of my head, but it is the smallest or the lowest profile that you can use. That's how I designed this chassis, is to use those. Leon over at Java's Junkyard likes to give us shit because we use brass tactiles a lot, but you know what? They are awesome switches. They're awesome switches. They work. They work very well. They don't ever have one malfunction really. And I do like the feel that you get when you press that button. You know it's pressed. You can just feel it. Sometimes you can hear it a little bit, but it's more of a feel. So we got that switch. We'll do this switch. All right. They fit amazing in just about any setup. Yeah, exactly. I mean, they come in all sizes, and I don't even know, unless the saber comes with. Cut that down a little bit. Unless the saber comes with a PCB on it already that you can wire up to. I mean, I've never really seen a saber that an application where they didn't work. Okay, so we got our switches wired up. Now let's wire up our two battery tabs since we got them sitting over here. And do this one. We'll do a short guy on this one. has an excellent chassis for this Saber. Go check that out if you want to check that out. Tim's coming out with he just showed a picture of his chassis for this Saber. It looks amazing as well. All of them look different, so it's just like you know, your tastes, which is something nice. I mean, you can rest assured you're going to look at those two chassis, my chassis, you know, they're all going to look different. Got our battery tabs wired up, so I'm just going to wire up now the kill switch. So, and then I'm going to have to clean. I think I'm going to have to clean this chassis out a little bit. That's not a big deal. No, it should be all right. I don't think that I've ever got a chassis that was vapor smoothed or vapor polished. This one came out pretty cool. Any recommendations for picking a blade length? I like 28 or below. Honestly, started to do a Kylo hilt that seems to have no room, less than 1 inch chassis, battery taking most of the space to make it look easy. Wow, a Kylo hilt with 1 inch, less than one. Is it like an old Parks? Oh, those are pretty tough. Those are pretty tough, man. For anybody. Somebody tells you those are easy, they're lying to you. All right. Twist this together. So on this particular one, I'm putting 2 long leads coming off of my kill switch. One's going to go to the board. One's going to go past the board and into here, so I can wire up my main NeoPixel, my 2 accent strips, everything. Everything's going to get wired to that second wire. That's how I like to do that. That is actually an old trick that I learned from my buddy Joe Hernandez. Yeah, Parks from Vader's Vault. It was on clearance. Oh yeah, man. I believe. Oh yeah. I mean, you just said it right. It's a Parks. That's a tough one, dude. That chassis is like, when you set that thing up, it's like no frills, no thrills. Just you feel a sense of accomplishment when it turns on. You're not putting any weird designs or going all out on the chassis. So another thing I do here, I put a little bit of E6000 behind my battery tabs. And I don't put a wire passage behind my model where my tabs go because I like the press fit of it. Works for me. Like that. See, we got the positive one in there. And then we'll snake this back through to connect to the kill switch. Yep, hats off to you on that, Kylo, man. You didn't pick an easy one, but I'm sure you'll get it, no problem. So we're going to snip that off here. I'm sure you'll get it, no problem. If you can see in the back of my chassis where my speaker is, and I don't know if the camera is going to focus on it just because it looks kind of rough, but I got a hole there for all my kill switch wires. I've got spaces here over on the side. These are separate spaces to put my NeoPixel accent strips. I can slide them right through, and then I've got separate spaces still to slide in my positive battery wires. So everything has its own spot. All right, so, but before we put that in, let's go ahead and run these accent strips because they can be kind of a pain. Not a whole lot of room in this guy. These tweezers are getting old, man. I get an emotional attachment to my tools and I don't want to get rid of them. I just feel like we've been through a lot together, you know. But these need to be replaced. All right, so run this through here. And a little bit of a snag. There we go. Now we'll use a piece of brass pipe or a brass rod to kind of push those through gently. I got a bunch of it up here. Use the flat end. There we go. And then slide one of these in the front, hopefully. Hopefully it doesn't give me too much flag. There we go. It's going in there nice. Gotta push that more in there though. There we go, that'll work. And a little bit of glue to hold that in place and it'll be all right. Just a little bit on the back of that strip. Taking it a different direction than the typical, adding an OLED on the top. First swing at a Profi V2. Remember, there is no try, do, or do not. That is correct. Where do you source those mini LED strips? I get the mini LED strips from AliExpress. They got a lot of good stuff on there when it comes to a lot of things, honestly. But they got a lot of different LED strips on there. Just be prepared to wait a little bit. So if you're going to order something from there, you know you gotta make sure that you plan for it because it's going to take a bit to get to you. All right, let's get this other one in and get this. This is probably the most headache part of this. Do any SK models allow for a rotating plasma gate in the exposed chamber? Sure, man. Lots of people have done it. It just depends on the way you do the chamber. A 2.0 conversion is probably best for that because you can, you're making your own chamber anyway. I've seen lots of people do it. I've seen, most recently I saw, and this is not a recent build of his, I think it's probably about a year old now, but again, Joe Hernandez did instead of a spinning plasma gate, he made his actual crystal spin, which was super cool. So, there's that. But yeah, I've seen it done. For sure. For sure. My brother. All right. Sometimes these go relatively smooth, and sometimes they don't. So this one's not too bad. There's just not a whole lot of room in here for activities, man. Yeah, no problem, bro. No worries. That's what I'm here for. All right, so we got that LED in. Take this diffuser and put it in front of that strip too. There we go. Doesn't want to go in. There we go. Mm-mm-mm. I see that one being kind of a pain. We'll get it done. It's all good. Yeah, that one didn't want to go, but we got it in there. Gotta be careful though, pushing those in there like that because you don't want to break anything. Those LEDs on these little strips are not super robust, right? So and now, if you can see that, we got the strips in there, and then obviously you can't see them because see if we'll focus in maybe. We got the strips in there, but you can't see them right because we got the diffuser material in front of them, so that's good. Now we can work on the kill switch here. I'll put this little rod back. This part can be a little cramped too also. There we go. Slide that in there. Make sure it doesn't touch on it like that. Should be alright then. A little bit of glue on the sides of this kill switch. On a PLA print, this would be a bit of a press fit, but on this one, because I had it vapor polished, it's sliding right in. So I'm going to put a little bit of CA glue on the sides of the kill switch. Titan Gray. Hey, Jeremy and everyone. Thanks for doing the video. Hey, what's up, Titan? Hey, thanks for tuning in, man. We still got a little ways to go, but we're getting there. I'm just going to hold in that kill switch. We got that kill switch right in front of the board. That's something that I really like to do. Put it in. I've always preferred it right in front of the board rather than over next to the battery. It just always seemed cooler there to me. So that's what I do. No wrong way to do it though, as long as it works. So we got that glued in. Now these are my two long leads from my kill switch. And remember I said one was going to go to the board and the other one was going to come up here. Curious to see what your thoughts are on vapor polishing. Is that one from Craft Lab? This one actually is from Jaws Tech, which is a company based out of Idaho. And I used to live in Boise, Idaho, and actually started, when I first started this business, I was in Boise, Idaho. We've been in this house for around 2 years, and that's where we moved from. but I loved using that company because I would get stuff just like that. And but anyway, this is from Jaws Tech, and I really like it. It has not affected my hasn't affected my dimensions very much at all. And yeah, I wouldn't say I lost anything really. Maybe the most minute something, on the overall diameter, but nothing. I did a test fit before I started this video, so I wouldn't look like an idiot, and, and everything fit fine. So yeah, man, for what it's, there's a huge difference between this. I don't know how it's looking on camera, but there's a huge difference between how this looks and then the raw SLS version. I'm multitasking, watching you and messaging Jirfan about the Hangman Hill. Yeah, I saw the chassis he made for that. It looks pretty dope, actually. I mean, not actually. There's no surprise there, but see, I gotta get in the light. One thing about SLS material, though, sometimes you get a little like if you get some small wire paths like I do on this one, um, you want to take a little something and just clear it out. And you can see that. Oh, you may not be able to see that, but a little bit of dust on there. I got to get that dust out because I really need that wire path to be free. So, let me find something to run through there real quick, just like I run through Albert's mom. Oh, shit. What's up, Brady? Gonna hide the kill switch in the upper cutout. Oh, that's gonna be sweet, dude. So yeah, that's one thing about SLS material. If you can see as I'm cleaning that, if I can focus in, you can see that gray dust right there, right? That's from the print. So we got to get that cleared out of the wire path so I can use it. Not a big deal. Just take a little bit of time. It's worth it. Worth the effort. And then on the other side too, because that is for my speaker wires. I don't even think he's here, Tano, so he didn't catch that little joke about his mom. That's all right. You can watch the replay. All right, let's see. You can point it towards the light and you can see it. It looks pretty good. So let's see what we can do. Catch that replay, Albert. Here we go. And this one too, hopefully. It's going. It doesn't want to, but it did, so that's good. Need a little canned air. Yeah. I don't know that I use it. I mean, it would be helpful. I don't know that I'd use it that much to justify it bugging me being on my desk. I got enough stuff on my desk. I don't know if you guys can. I mean, there's a lot of stuff up there. Okay, so we got that situated. That's good. Let's go ahead and put we got to tuck these kill switch wires in, otherwise the speaker won't fit. No biggie. I did leave a little room in there. to do that because I knew that, that's typically how I install. So try to work it around my habits when I'm designing. So that's all tucked in there. Now we can put the speaker in there. I'll give them a timestamp. How about a custom elite chassis for my Qui-Gon plus the corn build? Qui-Gon. I'd love to do it. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about if there's room in there. I need to know like where you got it from. That was a pretty tricky one because of the deep grooves. It may not have enough room for one. I mean, I'm sure we could come up with something. Let's talk about it, Brian. Like a challenge. And the corn for sure, man. I can do that corn for you. We're going to hold this speaker on there for just a moment. That all was a pretty tight fit. There's a lot going on in this chassis. It's a 1.1 diameter. Matter of fact, I think I made the actual chassis like a 1.09 inch diameter, just a little bit smaller than the actual 28 millimeter speaker. Just to have a little bit of wiggle room in the handle. Do you ever use a quick dry accelerant? No, because I don't want to. I've thought about it before, but I don't want to get it on everything. CA glue dries pretty fast. I mean, if I let go of this thing right now, it's good. I'm going to hold it for a few more minutes and chat just because we're here. But CA glue dries pretty quick. You can't see it, but over on the far side of my desk, I've got a desk fan, and it's blowing this way. It keeps the fumes off of me, and it helps cure the stuff pretty quick. Less than a minute, right? So, Put these rods back. So we're making some progress. We've got the speaker in. We've got the two LED accent strips in. We've got our main or our positive battery tab in. All right. I'm going to put a little bit of glue in there because this particular one, the battery is a tight fit, super tight. Yeah, I'm not sure, but it seems to me like it would be a bit of a mess, and I don't want to deal with it. If I'm being honest. So let's put some. Let's get this dry E6000 out of there. Put a little bit here. And we can put our negative battery tab in. Slide this in. And by the time this install is done, and the E6000, whoops, camera freaked out. Let me restart it. Sorry about that. It'll come back on here in a second. Here we go. By the time we're done with this install, it'll give the E6000 in the back of this negative battery tab a chance to cure. And I'm going to come back and I'm going to chop pretty much all of the spring off of that thing because I need the room. And that's what I did on this particular one to keep the speaker off of the back of the pommel on the Saber. Not a whole lot of room on this guy. Fairly large handle, but everything stops right here. Like so you've only got that much room to work. So you got to be careful there. So we've got that. That's curing. We can take our single neopixel accent. I've got a holder right here in the middle of the chassis for it. Butts it right up against the bottom of the crystal chamber. All right. And then a place for the wires to come out right there. Oh, I forgot to round it off with a file. That's all right. Not too much, but it does need to. When you get these things, they get a few edges on them. Just knock them down a little bit. And one more. That should be good enough. Should be a pretty tight press fit in there. Just like that. So now we've got that single neopixel for the crystal chamber in the holder there. We're good to go there. Now we're going to come over here, and the last thing we'll do is we're going to glue on our two switches onto this switch ledge that I've got right here. So the power over here, auxiliary right here. Again, with a little bit of CA glue. Make sure that's positioned exactly where I want it. And those wires over here. A lot of wires. Good drink water. I'll back you up a little bit. All right. That was pretty much cured, and we'll put this, put the power one on. And then once this cures, we can finally start wiring the board. Just like that. I gotta hold this here for a second. Make sure we're all good. Now we're at the real tedious part, is wiring all this up. You got to have some good wire management on this chassis because things can get pretty wild pretty quick. All the wires have to be on one side of the board or the other on the underside, or the board won't fit in the chassis correctly. So got to watch out for that. No biggie, though. We'll get through it. These seem to be pretty good. All right, I'm going to start wiring up the board. Get rid of some of these wires here. the easy stuff out of the way. All right, we'll get our speaker wires out of the way. What's up, Gilo? Good, man. Hope you're doing the same. The chat was quiet there for a moment. Start making my way around this board. I always do the negative battery tab first, then I'll do my speakers, and then I'll just kind of like branch out from there. But those are kind of my go-to first 3 wires. It gives me a good anchor to hold the board in place, and I can just work my way all the way around the board. All right, so probably go here and do this positive wire so it's out of the way. Because I'm cheap and that's so long, I'm going to save that and use it for something else. Hey, Merry Christmas, John. Yeah, man. Thank you. How much room to allow for a 21700 battery with a spring tab? Well, I don't know off the top of my head that measurement, man. Sorry, I don't do them often enough. I'd have to look at a previous model that I've made. Like with an 18650, my normal battery length in my chassis is 2.94 inches. You know, I know that because I do it all the time. Okay, so let's go ahead and let's get rid of these power wires for the accent strips. We're going to run them to the back of the chassis where the switches are at. And we're going to join all that stuff back there. Always save your wire cuts, isn't it? Cutoffs, isn't it? Yeah. I do if they're long enough, and I feel like I can reuse them for sure because, you know, they're expensive. Wire is expensive. Some person started a business from wire clippings. They just started saving wire clippings and they sold them as greeblies. I don't do that, but yeah, I do save them for other builds. Don't drop it from 3 foot high. You are correct. Okay, I need to move these wires out of my way. Start working my way around the board. That is That is a saying that just will not die. The 3 foot high. It was so ridiculous that that guy blamed me for the chassis breaking when he had the handle off, and he said he dropped it off of his desk from 3 foot high and it broke. Do not recommend it. He did not recommend me. Crazy thing about Etsy, and I don't know if my store is still up, but I haven't sold anything from there. Like I used to sell on Etsy all the time. It's how I started actually. But I took my stuff off a long time ago, and now I have my own website built up. But on Etsy, uh, he had bought my chassis, but I refunded him just because that guy was he was a bit of a loon, and I didn't want to deal with it. But on Etsy, if you buy something from someone and they refund you the money, you know, if they didn't have it, or if they don't want to sell it to you or something, they refund you the money. Uh, a review can still be left after a certain time frame, as if you had received it, and that was the review. So that was pretty wild. All right, joining these together. The two side accent strips, they get wired together. So same LED pad, same data pad for both sides. I just made them act the same, you know. Maybe zoomed in so you can see what I'm doing is better. Hopefully you guys can see what I'm doing. All right, please go to LED pad 5. We're getting it. It's almost there. It's probably like 80% complete. So we're getting it. All right, we've got all that wired up, so we can come back through and let's do some of the switches. Before I forget, have a great Christmas and a kick-ass New Year's. Yeah, yeah, man. Same to you, Kevin. Thank you. Have you nailed the install method for this hilt now, or is it a little different each time, Jeremy? Remember you saying there's not much room in the Gen 2 as the previous one. Um, this is the fourth one that I've done now, so I pretty much got a groove with it. Not too bad. You know, I would have made it a lot simpler. I mean, the install would have been a lot easier if I didn't want to put the LEDs on the side of the chassis, but I wanted, you know, I like to do that when I can. So that makes it a little bit more difficult and time consuming. It does congest the front of the chassis a little bit because I got to, you know, do some things over here to make that work. But in the end, it's worth it. But yeah, I've got kind of a system down for these guys now. I didn't see too many of these come through my desk. I did the two prototypes. I did those with a different chassis than I'm using now. Of course, this one, and then I think I did one or two, like maybe one or two others. That's it. Okay, let's do power switch. Oops. My family is waiting on me to get done so we could go out to eat. So I am trying my best to get a move on. Keep the quality. I'm hungry. I am hungry. What's up, Gabrielle? Gabriel? Sorry. So sorry, Gabriel. Gabriel. It's like I hate this Solar Sabers guy. All right, so everything there is good. Let's wire up our main crystal chamber accent while I'm thinking about it here. I'm going to do the common for the switches. I forgot to do that too, but that's not big. We can get it. All right, D-pad 2. I feel you there. Editing video as fast as I can so I can go eat dinner with the wife. Okay. Put this on there. Oops. That's good. I'm still impressed by the space improvement compared to the first gen. Yeah, there is a ton more space in here, for sure, no doubt. I totally agree with you. I did a removable chassis, like I installed a removable chassis, a removable battery chassis with 20 millimeter speaker, and it was the one that Rob Sotomayor came up with. It was a really cool design. There wasn't a whole lot of room for him to work, but he came up with it. It was cool. I think I did 3 of them, and man, the wire management to be able to pull that off was crazy. And then also, I think we did end up putting like a little spacer on the handle, but it was worth it to get that 28 millimeter in there. Anytime you can get a 28 millimeter speaker into a Saber is a good thing. What am I doing? What am I doing? There we go. Is this one roomier than the Gen 1? Oh, yeah, definitely, man. Definitely. I feel like the go-to on the Gen 1 Saber was static battery with recharge port and a 24 millimeter speaker, and even that was a tight fit. But you don't have any of that here. I didn't pick up one of the Gen 1s because of that reason. I'm not a fan of static batteries. I'm not a fan of speakers that are smaller than 28 millimeter. Just not my jam. And go ahead and join these up and then just bring in one wire. doing the comment for the switches. But instead of bringing them both through, I'm going to join them up here where I've got a little bit more room, and then just bring one wire underneath the board, save myself a little bit of room because I'm going to need it. That worked out well for me. Do some shrink too. Rob's chassis was super cramped food, but it was worth it for sure. Props to that dude. That was rough. That was a rough one. All right, we got that in there. We're almost there. You think it's a button up. With the growth you're having, I see you hiring support staff next year. No, man, I'm going to remain a one-man shop. Actually, was a little bit slower this year than it was last year, and I think because my projects took a little bit longer. I just found myself doing more difficult things this year than I did the previous year. So those can be more time consuming, obviously. And then it's my intention to do, difficult stuff going forward, to just kind of up the quality, or not the quality, but just the overall project stuff, right? Like metal chassis. I want to do that. I want to make my own sabers. Really been saying that for a moment, and stuff like that. So we'll see how it all goes. I'm sure it'll be fine. But no, man, I'll just stay a one-man shop. Gotta join all these power wires now. We got 3 small wires. The big one from the kill switch that we ran over here. My mascot is our pet cow, Boomer. His name is Boomer. So the reason we named him Boomer, let me get this real quick. A dog was in our yard one day, and really sweet dog, trying to get in the house though. You could tell he was a house dog. My wife looked at his collar. He had an address on there and his name on there as well. His name was Boomer. And so she put the dog in her car and drove the dog home, and ended up being a farmer in the back of our, like, that owns the acres in the back of our house on top of the hill. And he had a cow there for sale. So she left with a dog and came back with a cow. That's what happened. Yeah, let's try to get that one in there too, actually. He's pretty cool though. I like him. Okay, I'll do something a little different than I normally did in the past, and I'm just going to run my main wire from my NeoPixel connector and my data line. Hook these to the board and run them to the back. Hey, thank you, Gabriel. Same to you, man. Happy holidays to you, bro. To all you guys and gals. Now, once I get this data line soldered in, I'm going to lay this board down and glue it to the shelf. Just like that. Carefully tuck our wires in here. Use our tweezers. Kind of get things to lay where we want them. Make sure we get enough room to lay the board down. Not super difficult to do, but everything's laying down good. So we're going to run some glue on the sides of the board and glue it down. And then just hold it for a second and let it do its thing. Just like that. And then when this dries and the board is tucked into the chassis and we're looking good, we'll start putting it into the actual crystal chamber and getting it all lined up. We've got 3 wires to connect. We'll lock the chassis down, and if we did everything right, it'll fire up. So now we wait. Some water. We started at 4 o'clock. We ran into about an hour and a half build. If you were just sitting here doing it, no talking. A lot of stuff going on here. Cool saber though. Just kind of holding it till the board dries to the shelf. And we're there now, so nice and clean up top, where you're going to see it. All the wires are tucked in whoops, sorry about that. Focus is a little. All the wires tucked in where they need to be, solder joints looking good. Everything's good there. So now we'll move on to putting it onto the actual chamber. What's up, Geosborn? How you doing, man? Appreciate you guys who stuck with me. I know we've been at it for a minute, but we're almost done. Hopefully, if we don't have any unforeseen issues pop up. Get these all tinned and ready to go. Okay. One by one, we'll start putting them together. Oh, Merry Christmas to you, Paul. Thank you, man. We are almost there. Keep saying that. Let me get some shrink tube all pre-cut. So when we get going, we can just get going. Do the hard one first, which is the power lines. Got a lot there, so we'll get that out of the way. Once we get that out of the way, it should be smooth sailing. I like to do the hard stuff first. Womp. All right, get that shrink tube over there. That was good. Two more. I don't know, where's Paul? Have a good dinner, man. I'll be running out to dinner myself as soon as I get done with this install. Almost there. You get that shrink tube over that solder joint there and make sure we're good. Now we'll do our data line. All right. Got over that one. Okay, tuck all this into here. Sure it's nice and tidy. go. I am going to use a little bit of E6000 to hold this chassis in. See you, Kevin. Thanks for tuning in, man. We're wrapping up. Fact, I'm going to put a little bit of electrical tape over this. I think where I lost just a little bit of friction fit is in the neck, where it drops, where the chassis meets the saber. Doing that vapor polish. Not a big deal, but it did take a little bit of that away. So I got to make up for that. Cut that excess off. All right, I'll use some E6000. I'm going to hold that there for a moment. We need to find out how many people gain the confidence to install a saber from watching your streams. If just one, that'd be pretty cool, man. That'd be worth it right there. I don't know how well you guys can see my work. I originally started doing these with the intention of trying to help people install sabers, but I'm not sure, like, if you're watching this, if you could pick up on the little things that I'm doing. Hopefully you can. I'm going to give this a chance to dry for a moment. My black chassis went well with this saber. And you can see, if you can see in there, these two holes. Inside these two holes, we've got those brass hat tactiles lined up with the holes, so we're good to go there. Hey, Bobby. Hey, thank you for that, man. So this is all ready to, let's put the shroud on first, all right? There's a few parts to the shroud. We've got this one, this, these two screws, all right? So we're going to take the shroud here, slide it up this way. Line up the switch holes, just like that. Once we line up these switch holes, we want to take the switch plate, which is this guy right here, and you got to be careful if you can see that. That's off camera. Sorry. These two blue plunger switches, and then they have springs on them, right? So I'm gonna try to put that all in with one piece instead of separately. It makes it just a little bit easier. Test our switch action. Everything, it feels good there. Whoop, I'm off camera. Sorry, guys. I put that switch plate on before I glue it down. I like to just come over here and make sure I can press both switches and I'm getting a good tactile feel. And thank you, Jason. And I am. So this piece is what actually holds the switch plate on. You can glue it. I don't feel comfortable gluing it because I don't want any of the glue to get on the plunger, the blue plunger switches. There's not a lot of material between the actual plate and the plunger. So I rely on this to hold it down because when you screw this down, it kind of screws over the switch plate and the switch plate won't come off. Let me get my keys. Screw that down in there. Get that one. And one more. So again, give the switches a quick sanity check. Everything's good there. This piece actually goes on like, is it like that or like the other? I think it might be like this. Yeah, it goes on like that. This goes over this piece just magnetically. So we're good there. All right. I'm going to put the SD card into the board. Like that. And I remember at the very beginning, just like that. At the very beginning, if you were with me, I said once we got done installing everything, I was going to come back and I'd cut all these springs pretty much off of this spring side connector because that's how I designed it. I had to shorten up my battery tray. Where's a battery? There's one. So hopefully it fires up, you know? So we'll come over here and flip the kill switch. We got some good LED action over there, some good over here. We got some good crystal chamber shine through. If you can see that right there, it's pulsing. All right, we hit power. Our crystal chamber goes solid. LEDs firing up. Auxiliary's working good. So everything in that is working exactly how it should, and that's a relief. So we're going to flip that kill switch off, take the battery out. I probably did not have to take as much of that spring off as I did. So not a big deal. I put a battery wrap on that or something if I designate a battery for this saber. But this is all ready. I opted to go with the wire on mine. So this just slides in here like this. Twist this all, lock it down. This little wire right here is for the top. So the top, let me cut this straight because that's what was kind of not working before. Just do a straight cut on that wire. Put one wire in that hole right there. I did that with mine because I won't be turning this on very much at all. I kind of like to install them and then they just kind of sit on the shelf. Not a big deal. So I'll put my wire in that clip right there, and then I cut the other wire. But when I put it in there, it looks like it's all one piece, right? So anyway, that is the Jedi Killer Gen 2 last live stream of the year, full install. I hope that you guys like that. Thank you for following me during that journey, and thanks for following my page and supporting me as well, because it means a lot to me. So thank you very much. I hope all you guys have a very Merry Christmas, a Happy New Year, and we'll see you soon with some new projects. All right, you guys have a good evening. Thank you. Peace.